What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, episode 194, believe it or not. I'm your host, Mistress Carrie, and welcome to my War Room. This is where we've been gathering every Tuesday night, well, on and off for the last over 2 years now. This all started back on March 14th of 2020. We did 80 nights in a row at the beginning of the lockdown, and we're riding out COVID together here in the War Room. And now it's turned into a weekly show. We get together every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern to talk about music, current events, talk about everything that's going on. And I apologize for being a couple minutes late. We're having audio problems in the War Room tonight for some reason. My microphone was all like crackly, but we got it figured out. And when I say we, I mean not just me, but move over so everybody can see your little butt. For anybody that's new to the War Room, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us, and I say us meaning the War Room family as well. And the other part of the us is my co-host, Wednesday the Goth Pug, who you see right here wiggling her butt on the green couch here in the War Room, because she knows that when she comes into the War Room, not only does she get to play with toys, but more importantly, she gets treats and cookies, because I am not above bribing my canine companion to, come here, Wednesday, to come in here and hang out with me. Sit down. Sit. High five. Good girl. Sit. Here you go. Good girl. So what's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Yes, I am, I'm bribing Wednesday for her love right now, but she likes to come and hang out with us. She's here usually at the beginning of the show because she knows she gets cookies if she sits nicely and does a few tricks. And then sometimes she comes back later in the show because sometimes she gets mail in the mail call. So sounds good. We can hear you and Wednesday. And of course, Wednesday begging for a treat. Double horns. What's up, Travis? Evening, Mistress Carrie. Sorry about your mom. Thanks for last Tuesday for the concert tickets. Yeah, I got to fill you in on what's going on with mom. Because there is a lot of updates. I don't want to get into too much of it tonight, but I do want to keep you guys up to date. So get down. Good girl. But this has been probably one of the craziest weeks of my life. Literally, it has been absolutely insane. Just trying to just kind of navigate everything that's been happening work-wise, home-wise, obviously mom-wise. If you're new to the War Room, you might not know what I'm talking about. So why don't I just get that part over and done with so we can kind of move on with the show. For anybody that's new, I'll just recap quickly. My mom has Alzheimer's and dementia, and I've been, between my sister and I, the primary caretaker for my mom since the pandemic started. And it's something we've talked about several times here in the War Room, and it has gotten progressively harder to kind of keep up with. And you guys are always so sweet and so wonderful and offering your love and support and also just asking what's going on. So to kind of sum up what's happened since episode 193 last week of Cocktails in the War Room, my mom is in the hospital, and her dementia has gotten significantly worse. It got really bad after getting COVID back in May. And we don't know if she's going to be able to come home at this point, because we're just not sure. Hey, shush. We're just not sure if we're going to be able to provide the level of care that's necessary at this point. So there's been a lot going on. There have been a lot of developments, a lot of tears, obviously. And we're just trying to figure it all out. So I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way at the beginning of the show. So if I seem a little bit scatterbrained today, you guys know why. Also, yesterday, as I was going to the hospital to visit my mom, I had an appointment at the orthopedic doctor, because you guys know I've been nursing a pretty severe shoulder injury for the entire year. And yesterday, I got an unexpected injection in my shoulder, and my arm is really stiff today. So I was going in there on my 6-week kind of checkup to check the flexibility, see how my arm was doing. And he was like, I really think we need to do another injection. And I thought that meant scheduling another appointment. He goes over to the counter, pulls out the needle, starts getting a shot ready. And I was like, wait, we're doing that now? And he was like, yeah, unless you don't want me to do it right now. And I was like, all right, fuck it. Let's just do it. So got another injection in my shoulder yesterday, then went and spent some time with my mom in the hospital. Yesterday was a hard day, which is why you may not have heard me on the air on the Pike yesterday. That is why, because yesterday was just a really tough day all the way around. And things have just been, hey, I'm talking. Things have been very stressful. And one of the things that's been the most stressful is how it's been affecting Wednesday, because she's used to having her Grammy around to be able to sit on her lap and snuggle with her. And the dog has been this unbelievable positive force in my mom's life. And so to have my mom separated from the dog right now, it's not only affecting my mom greatly, but also Wednesday has been pretty down in the dumps and a sad panda the last couple of days. So she's been seeking a lot of extra attention from me, and it's affecting everybody in the family, both the family members on 2 legs and the family members on 4 legs. Before we get too much more into the show, speaking of our 4-legged loved ones, Wednesday and I wanted to send our condolences to the Massachusetts State Police. They had a standoff with an armed suspect today in Fitchburg, and they sent Canine Frankie from the Massachusetts State Police in after the armed suspect, who was barricaded himself into a house. And the suspect shot and killed Canine Frankie from the Mass State Police and then turned the gun on himself. And so the Mass State Police are mourning the loss of one of their canine officers tonight. So I know I can speak for Wednesday and obviously my entire family when I say that we are sending our love to not only all of the members of the Massachusetts State Police, but specifically his partner. I can't imagine what that would be like to train and live with every day your canine partner, only to lose them in the line of duty. And so I just wanted to make sure that we paid tribute to Frankie's sacrifice today as well, so that they know that, you know, the canines are just as important to us as the troopers and the officers as well. Yes, the pitiful sounds, Tracy. I know. She's begging for cookies. She is upset that that's all the cookies you get Wednesday until maybe mail call. Maybe somebody put something in the mail. I don't know. Maybe they did. It's possible. What? What are you doing? I just have toys for you. You want the fish? You want the squeaky, crinkly fish? There you go. You want to sit over there? There. Why don't you just take your toy and hang out with me for a while? Do I have to bribe you for love? Is that what I have to do? Do I constantly have to bribe you for your affection? Want the fish? Or do you want the mermaid? Bite the mermaid right in the boobie. Get her. Yeah, she wants to play tug of war. Which feels great on my shoulder. Seriously. She has been, like I said, attention seeking a lot because my mom hasn't been here. So, Julie says, "What's up, Miss C?" And hello, Wednesday. Yeah, she heard the words mail call, Trina says. Yeah, exactly. And she's like, wait, is it time for mail call? No, we do mail call towards the end of the show Wednesday. Are you eating stuffing? She broke the mermaid right here on the show. The mermaid's guts are coming out. And Wednesday loves to eat the stuffing. And we all know it's not good for her, so I'm going to take the mermaid away, and you're done with the mermaid. Hey, get out of there. Come over here. What's this? Do you want to play with the lamb? Here, play with the lamb instead. There you go. Watching while feeding my daughter, says Kimberly. What's up? Mark says she's feisty. Yeah, I had a marriage like that, says Jonathan. Walter, get the crinkly fish. Exactly. Elsa, Mr. C is doing fantastic. He may be joining us in the war room tonight, so he's doing really good. Still recovering, obviously, from the family trip to Wisconsin, but he is doing really good. We were having some fun via email and text message. I had to make a quick trip to base today to square away some dependent paperwork and such. And that's always fun when you're trying to straighten things out and you're not in the same state. So I had to take care of that today. R.I.P. the mermaid, says Keith. The pillows are next, says Jason. Yeah, exactly. Donna says, what's up, Mr. C? So it's been a little bit of everything. Obviously, trying to keep the wheels on the wagon work-wise while trying to kind of maintain, balance with home and trying to, get future plans for mom kind of figured out and squared away, and also trying to sit here with my little partner in crime that has been extra needy. And as we all know, this little furry nugget is not allowed in my studio, MCHQ, because not only does she have an appetite for the stuffing in toys, but she also has an appetite for the soundproofed insulation that's on the walls in MCHQ. So, goodbye pillows, says Eric. Exactly. Is that lamb chop? Yes. And she's eating its face. We're going off the rails, says Eric. Exactly. Walter, make the sushi. Yeah, Wednesday is a little bit wound up. I don't know exactly what's going on with her today, but she's definitely into it today. So we got a lot to talk about on the show. There have been some big announcements. I do want to let you guys know, though, that because of everything going on, I'm just hitting the seltzer tonight. I pulled out an old school glass. Look at this thing. This glass is 20 years old. How crazy is that? Insane. So I dug out one of the old glasses for the show tonight. Donna wants to know if I can sneak Wednesday in to see my mom sometime. Where my mom is right now, no. Every place that we have spoken to about mom's possible new residence, that has been a question that we have asked. And remarkably, every one of the places that we've talked to said yes, that as long as you can provide rabies vaccination records, that dogs are allowed to come and visit, which has been amazing. So it just all depends on what's going to happen next. I don't want to get too much into everything that's going on with mom. First of all, just because some of it's just really, really personal and it's really sad. But also it's changing literally by the hour. My sister and I have been killing our cell phone batteries on the phone with neurologists, primary care, social workers, psychiatrists, the attending physicians, the nurses that are taking care of her. It's been really, really busy the last few days, and it's been very stressful and just really emotional for the entire family. And so to answer your question about the dog, like that was definitely something. She's not allowed in the hospital, but if we can get her relocated someplace more permanent that is going to be able to offer the specified care that she needs, to know that we'll be able to take Wednesday to see her means the world to me. I do want you guys to know, though, remember back in Mail Call a while ago that somebody sent me a pillow with Wednesday's picture on it? My mom has that pillow with her right now in the hospital. So I can't remember who sent me the pillow. I'm really sorry if I can't remember, but know that my mom has the pillow with her. And so she's got a little bit of Wednesday with her right now. So does my sister have blue hair? No, it's not blue. It's red, actually. So if we had like maybe a brother with blue hair, then we would be the whole spectrum. But no, she doesn't have blue hair. Wishing you the best with all of that. Let's see. Sean says, hang in there, Carrie. Was it Brianna that sent me the pillow? Well, Brianna, mom's got the pillow right now. So Donna says, hugs to your family. Thank you very much. So it's just, there's been a lot going on. And now Wednesday's going to start barking. Wound up tonight. All right, we got a lot of business to take care of. So let's make sure that we're giving Travis his due. If you have not checked out episode 300 of Oscar Mike Radio yet, it is out now. It's linked in my blog at mistresscarrie.com. We had a really long conversation about a lot of really personal kind of life stuff. We talked for a long time, and it's his 300th episode of Oscar Mike Radio. So if you haven't checked out our own Travis's episode 300 and you got some time, definitely go and check it out. The link, the embedded YouTube player, all of it is in my blog at mistresscarrie.com. All right. It's cocktail time. The cocktail book is going to come up a little bit later on in Mail Call. Something very unbelievable is in Mail Call today. And it involves the drinks, among other things. This I thought was interesting, even though you guys know I am not a lover of gin at all. Mr. C loves gin. I am not a lover of gin, but I've been trying to find drinks that seemed like they would taste really good in the summertime. Even if I wouldn't drink this one myself, because like I said, not a gin lover. This is called the A1, and no, it's not the steak sauce, but maybe it would be good with steak. I don't know if gin's good with steak. 2 ounces of gin, an ounce of Grand Marnier, a dash of lemon juice, and a twist of lemon to serve. You shake the ingredients with ice and then strain into a cocktail glass. Garnish with the twist of lemon and serve. So it's got a little citrusy, I guess it would be, kind of like an orangey gin martini, I guess. So it's got gin, Grand Marnier, lemon juice, and then just the twist of lemon at the end, but shake it over ice, pour it into a cocktail glass and serve. And that's called the A1. So I hope we haven't done that one. I didn't remember the A1 before. Elsa says, Travis, it was an amazing episode 300 on the podcast. Eric says, no eggs, no dairy. Dad's Casa de Roma. My dad's at Casa de Roma in Framingham. Delicious. Michael says, I love gin, but my stomach doesn't. I'm still working on resolving this conflict. Keep trying. Practice makes perfect, I guess. Beat it into submission. Don't take no for an answer, Michael. Brito says, sometimes you got to go old school and do the Dells and Purple Passion. Maybe vodka will work in that. Yeah, I mean, vodka, Grand Marnier, a little bit of lemon juice in there would work great, especially if you got some kind of maybe a citrusy, lemony, or even a cucumber vodka, I bet would be really good. I love that cucumber kind of crisp, clean taste in lemonade anyway. So with the Grand Marnier and the lemon juice, I think maybe a cucumber vodka would be really good in it. So Penny says, never had it. Oh my God, Purple Passion reminds me of when I was 12. Well, if you guys saw the pictures of me in Wisconsin at the fireworks store, they had the big block of purple fireworks that was called Purple Passion. And there were some people that were younger than me at the fireworks store. And I was like, they don't remember the Purple Passion 2-liter bottles of soda, of the 2-liter bottles with the Everclear in it that everybody had at keg parties. So I'm just going to stand over here. Anybody like the White Claws? Jeff wants to know. I like the black cherry. I think it kind of tastes like a cherry icy. And if I am at a barbecue and I don't want to dive headfirst into like mixed drinks and cocktails, I'll grab a claw. I'm not ashamed to drink a claw. The fact that a non-beer lover like me has always sought out the beer alternative, whether it was Purple Passions, Bartles and James wine coolers, to throw out another old school reference. There have just always been, you know, when the iced teas and the lemonades and all of that kind of stuff, Mike's Hard Lemonade, and when that all started coming out, Zima, I've always tried all of that stuff because the problem with mixed drinks, obviously, is that you got to bring the bottle and the mixers and the ice and whatever. Whereas if you're a beer drinker, you can just dump the cans in a cooler of ice. And so having a beer alternative, I love a lot of the ciders. So White Claw kind of fits into that, where it's like, depending on where I'm going, if it's going to be, you know, floating around in a raft in a lake somewhere, you're not going to be sitting there trying to mix with a bottle of booze. So having some White Claws or something in a can just makes things easy. Drink a Truly, says Layla. Zima was so gross, Trina. It absolutely was, unless you put the Chambord in it, which made it palatable. But yeah, Zima was kind of gross. Mark just says, just drink tequila. I got a pal who's a bartender and he can't he can't have beer anymore either. I just don't enjoy it. I have literally tried every beer in my career over the years, from like Bud Light to Guinness and everything in between. And it just, I don't have the taste for it, and I don't know why. So I've always had to kind of get creative on what I can drink. And the other thing is, you never want to be the person trying to match round for round with people that are drinking like Bud Diets, as LB calls them, and you're drinking liquor, because you're going to end up legless and under the table, and everybody's going to think you're a lightweight, but they're drinking light beers and you're drinking cocktails. It's just not a fair race. So to have those beer alternatives and have so many of them, so many of the ciders now, the seltzers that are out there, has been awesome for somebody like me. So Bartles and James, nice, says Jason. Come on, you remember Bartles and James. I really have to be in the mood for beer, says Bridget. Try Old Rasputin beer. It's so good and so dangerous. I'll try it, but I would bet my house in Vegas that I wouldn't like it. I mean, I've tried Blue Moon, which people told me that I would really like. I've tried a lot of different flavored beers. It's like the hoppiness of it, I think. I just have never really enjoyed it. Give me margaritas. Jillian, you are a woman after my own heart, 100%. Boone's Farm, says Donna. Who's drinking the white clams? Well, Wednesday's got the toys that you guys sent her last week. So there are a billion different beers. I don't even know how to pronounce that one. The Vitus, very different stuff. Simple Sailor in New Bedford is really good. I remember James, but who's Bartle, says Richard Fitz. That's hilarious. Shipyard Pumpkin, I've tried that one. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't. Strawberry Fields, I did have a fantastic strawberry cider in Wisconsin that was really, really good. It's really good. No hoppiness, 11.9 ABV. You might as well just drink tequila straight if it's got an ABV like that. I'm having one right now in between whiskey sips, says Keith. That's fantastic. All right, so I want to talk about last week's podcast because there's a lot to talk about on the show. So last week we had Massachusetts guitar legend, blues guitar player Johnny A on the show. And if you're a Beatles lover and a lover of blues guitar, episode 111 is for you. Johnny A is so talented, so well known and revered as a guitar player, but he is also such a huge Beatles fan that for someone like me to be able to nerd out with the Beatles references, I loved having a conversation with him about all this stuff. He actually sent me a DM on Instagram and was like, thanks for the time. It makes me want to go back and rewatch the Bee Gees Sgt. Pepper's film. And that was one of the things, because I've talked to everybody. I talked to Joey Kramer from Aerosmith about that movie. I've had this conversation so many times. Mike Shue makes fun of me all the time because I am such a lover of the old 70s movie starring Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Steve Martin's in it. George Burns is in it. Obviously, Aerosmith, which is where the famous Aerosmith Come Together cover comes from. But Johnny A was like, I thought it was kind of goofy in last week's episode, but it's just one of those things that it came out when I was a kid. And as a kid, I was so excited that I knew the music because I had grown up listening to those Beatles songs with my mom and obviously recognized the Bee Gees from TV and knew the Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive from the radio. So when the movie came out, I was instantly involved with it because I recognized so many of the songs and I recognized the Bee Gees in it. I obviously recognized George Burns because back in the 70s, George Burns played God in movies. And I was really afraid of Steven Tyler and the guys from Aerosmith as a kid because they tried to possess Strawberry Fields, and they tied her to a giant neon dollar sign and played Come Together to her and tried to possess her. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to have to go and find it. It's got to be on Netflix. It's got to be on Amazon Prime. Somebody has to be streaming the old movie. Is it goofy? Yes. Are the special effects terrible? Yes. Is it filled with disco references and Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees? Yes. But it holds a very special place in my heart. I thought I was the only one that liked that movie, says Kathy Durant. No, I loved it. I loved that movie. Good Lord, the kids are having a party across the street. No sleep for us tonight, it appears, says Voorhees. Let's see. Love it. Can't wait for the show. Now I need to go and get some Old English 800, says Keith. Oh my God. Afraid of Steven Tyler and A. Smith just made me laugh out loud. I was, because I was a kid. And Steven Tyler was scary with that giant mouth, and he was screaming in Strawberry Field's face, and she was struggling, and Peter Frampton was trying to save her. And now I'm going to have to go back and watch the movie again because I haven't watched it since I talked to Johnny A. So if you missed out on last week's episode 111, featuring Johnny A., legendary blues guitar player, local guitar hero here in Massachusetts, and Beatles aficionado, and his trio, and the music that they're doing called From A to Beatles, all instrumental 3-piece versions of Beatles songs done by a blues guitar player. Yes. So episode 111 is available right now. Episode 112 goes live at midnight tonight. And episode 112, I always want to try and turn you guys on to bands that you may or may not know about. I don't know if you know about Crowbot yet. They've been around for a little over 10 years. But this band is one of those bands that is so reminiscent of the heyday of rock and roll. Matter of fact, in this week's episode, Brandon from Crowbot actually said, you know, the sweet spot for a band like Crowbot is somewhere between Zeppelin and Soundgarden. And if you are a lover of those bands, Crowbot is a band I definitely look forward to turning you on to. Brandon's really cool. They're a band from rural Pennsylvania, actually. And we actually talked about all of the amazing bands that have come out of PA. Live, Fuel, Breaking Benjamin, Hailstorm. There's so many bands that have come out of PA. And so when we were talking about growing up in a small town and thinking whether or not it would be possible to be successful in music, he cited a lot of those examples and was like, we didn't think it was impossible because so many other bands have done it over the years. And so they have a new album out. If you haven't checked out the band yet, I really think, even before WAF went off the air, this was a band that we were really following. We played a little bit. But I think if you take a deep dive into Crowbot, I really think, and it's not Probot, the Dave Grohl metal project. This is Crowbot. I think you guys, if you're a lover of old school rock and roll, I really hope that I turn you on to this band if you don't know them already. And it's something that, Christy says, nice, I love Crowbot, saw them open up for Motorhead. Yeah, they're great, says Christine. So there are people that know this band already. They've been around, like I said, over a decade, but they're one of those bands that's opened up for a bunch of bands, but they're just trying to get their footing. And obviously, bands like Crowbot really suffered during COVID because that downtime, losing that momentum, while it was great to create new music, there were all of these fantastic, huge tours that were supposed to go out that got canceled. And for a newer band that is slowly climbing and playing bigger and bigger shows and getting their songs on the radio, to lose momentum for a band like Crowbot can be really hard for them. So if you love all of the kind of newer bands that I've been trying to turn you on to here on the podcast, you definitely want to check out Crowbot. You know, when we started the podcast and we talked about it, I always wanted to have as part of the mission to really have a place to be able to try and help launch up and coming bands. And while I love talking to legends like we did last week with Johnny A., I always want to be able to kind of come back and go, okay, but here's something new that's come out of the filter of everything that's come before. And even, you know, when I talked to Frank Bello from Anthrax about, has every riff been written? He talked about, no, that artists, musicians, guitar players, singers are always going to be inspired by a combination of different sounds. And it's also going to come through the filter of their experience. And so bands like Crowbot give me hope that rock music is alive and well, and that there are new voices that are coming up in the genre. And so I'm really excited that I think you guys are going to love Crowbot. The corresponding playlist for this episode is great. There's a lot of real old school classic stuff in there, but then a lot of the newer bands that we were talking about as well. So definitely go and listen to episode 112. It features Brandon from Crowbot, and it comes out at midnight tonight. Is anyone going to Papa Roach and Falling in Reverse tomorrow in East Providence? Christine wants to know. I love that you guys are using the War Room as a way to kind of meet up and hang out together at shows. Even if you're going to shows that I haven't given you the tickets for, I love that you guys have gotten to know each other, maybe just through the War Room, maybe at some of the live War Room gigs that we've done or some of the charity events we've done, or that you've all won tickets either from Mistress Carrie backstage passes or free tickets here in the War Room and ended up sitting next to each other at shows and just making friends. I think it's so cool that you guys have started to hang out. So what's up, Rick? Thanks for joining us here in the War Room. So this is episode 112 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, and it goes live at midnight tonight. Now, don't forget, when you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you also get all of the things that get released with the podcast, and that includes the bonus episodes. That includes the audio when we have guests here in the War Room. We put those interviews up as after action reports. And every weekday, you're also getting the sit rep. Monday through Friday, I break down that day's music news, the headlines, everything you need to know, and it's 5 minutes long. Makes it super easy for you to stay up to date with everything that's going on, and you can do it basically in the time it takes you to get in the shower, make your coffee, or drop the kids off at school. So make sure you're subscribing and following the Mistress Carrie podcast, and you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. It's available everywhere, including all of these places and then some. A lot of people have started to listen on Stitcher, but there are a lot of other podcast outlets that are really starting to grow. Podcruncher, Pandora, there's a lot more people listening. Radio Public, Amazon, Deezer has got a lot of listeners coming now. You can find me on all of the big radio station apps like Odyssey, iHeart, the TuneIn app, you can find it, Player FM, and obviously the big ones like Spotify, Apple, Google, they're all there. And if you don't listen to podcasts regularly, you don't know how to do it, you just have to go to mistresscarrie.com, and the podcast episodes are right there. Click on the one you want to listen to and hit play. Super easy. There are embeddable players for every episode of Cocktails in the War Room and every sit rep. So it makes it super easy for you to listen. So even if you don't want to watch on your mobile phone or listen on your mobile phone or on your smart speaker, you can do it all on your desktop while you're pretending that you're at work every day. Want to give you guys a little bit more of an update. The top 5 listening countries remain unchanged this week. So the United States, obviously the number 1 country for listenership for the Mistress Carrie podcast. We did get some surprises last week, and they're continuing to grow. Canada's at number 2, the UK is at number 3, Russia is at number 4, and Singapore is at number 5. And we're still holding strong at 130 countries and growing. So pretty excited about that. I want to welcome all of the international listeners and viewers that check out Cocktails in the War Room. I also want to let you guys know that I did get my hands on some more tickets for the Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Static X, and Powerman 5000 show. It's happening Saturday night at the Xfinity Center. So the Hair Fest for the Pike is happening during the day. At night, the Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Static X, Powerman 5000 show is happening. And I have more free tickets to give away this week. So if you click the message the studio button at mistresscarrie.com, fill out the form, put in the subject that you want Rob Zombie tickets, put zombie in the subject line, make sure that I get your full name and your email address, and I will fill as many of these as I can. First come, first serve. So if you want these tickets for Saturday night, you got to request them quick. So click the message the studio button at mistresscarrie.com, and I'll hook you up with some tickets. I believe I am going to be at the show later on. Obviously, Mike Shue, Chuck Perks, and I are going to be at the Hair Fest during the day at Indian Ranch in Webster. But I really want to see Mudvayne back together and on stage. And obviously, always, Rob Zombie always puts on a fantastic show. Powerman 5000 hasn't toured in a while, and Static X back out on the road. They did tour before COVID, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Wisconsin Death Trip with the lead singer Zero, and the band was fantastic. And when you go and see Static X, you remember, That's why I love this band, because it's that up-tempo kind of dance, bouncy kind of music from Static X that we all loved. And it just makes me miss Wayne Static, because I think now that so many of the mid to late 90s and early 2000s kind of new metal bands are coming back, that had Wayne Static been alive to kind of see this resurgence, he'd be making some fantastic music right now. So if you want these tickets, you got to act quick, because they're going to go fast. I gave away a bunch of tickets last week, and I want to give away all the tickets I have so that the tickets I have don't go to waste. And I'll see you guys at the show on Saturday night at some point. All right, there's a lot of music news to get to. Slipknot announced a lot about their upcoming new album. It's called The End So Far. It's coming out on September 30th. Slipknot's been playing shows and playing some of the new music already, debuting a lot of new masks in the band. Sid Wilson, the DJ from Slipknot, actually took the mask from the last tour and took it off his face, and it's now in his hand, and it's animatronic, and he's got this robot mask underneath. Sid's mask is sick. But there were a lot of panicked Slipknot fans on social media when the name of the album came out, which is The End So Far. People worried that Slipknot was breaking up, and they were announcing it in a vague way with the title of this record. That's not the case. Corey Taylor putting a lot of Slipknot fans' minds to rest live on stage recently, saying, "We're not breaking up. We're just going into a new era of Slipknot." Now, I know from the business side of things, Slipknot has had a long-standing record contract with their label Roadrunner Records since the first record came out. To my knowledge, The End So Far is the last album in Slipknot's record contract with Roadrunner, and I believe that that is the new era in Slipknot that the band is alluding to, that like a lot of bigger, more established artists, they work out their record deals, deliver all the albums they're contracted to, and then, like Metallica, they self-fund moving forward and decide when they want to release records and how they want to release records, and if they want to just release EPs or songs in digital format only, physical copies. They can tour when they want because they have these solidified fan bases. And I think Slipknot is there, and that is the reference to The End So Far. So a lot of big stuff coming for Slipknot. Also, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, they are going to be at the Leaderbank Pavilion coming up September 9th. September 10th, they're going to be at Foxwoods. Those tickets are on sale. This tour just got announced. Stevie Nicks heading out on the road this fall, and she's making a stop at the Xfinity Center in Mansfield, Massachusetts. The entire Stevie Nicks tour, there's a bunch of dates that she just announced. The entire tour goes on sale on Friday. The show in Mansfield is up on the concert page at mistresscarrie.com. Make sure you check that out. And the Red Hot Chili Peppers made a massive announcement recently. They released Unlimited Love a few months ago, and it's the first album featuring their returning guitar player, John Frusciante, in 16 years. And when they sat down to work on the new music and they wrote the songs for Unlimited Love, they just kept writing. And in the statement, they talked about tapping this vein of creativity. And that is when they decided, you know what, we've got too many good songs. We're going to break them up into two separate releases. And so coming up on October 14th, the Red Hot Chili Peppers are releasing another album. It's called Return of the Dream Canteen. And the guys, I mean, look at the double albums that have been released recently. Jack White just released his new album, Entering Heaven Alive, on Friday. Even though he released a solo album back in April, the Black Keys released their blues cover album last year. They released Dropout Boogie this year and are already talking about releasing another album next year. Then you got a band like the Red Hot Chili Peppers that's releasing two albums just, a handful of months apart. There's a lot of great music coming out, a lot of unbelievable music coming out. The guys from Bush are releasing a new song tomorrow. So we're just getting this constant flow of amazing music. The bands had to keep themselves occupied somehow during COVID. And here in the War Room, over the 194 episodes that we've been in so far, we've been waiting for this. We've known that the bands have been hunkered down. We've known that they've been working on song ideas and collaborating virtually or quarantining together, renting houses. Amy Lee talks about bringing in tour buses and everybody kind of quarantined together to work on their new album. So Pretty awesome. Yeah, Bridget, you're absolutely right. Stevie Nicks is touring with Vanessa Carlton, and that show is September 19th. Stevie Nicks is one of the artists that, like, growing up, I wanted to be Dirty Sandy at the end of Grease, the Tell Me About It stud Sandy, and I wanted to be Stevie Nicks. So I guess if you combine Sandy smoking the cigarette and Stevie Nicks together with a little bit of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band mixed in, this is what you get. So, sorry. There's a lot of other shows that are coming to the area. All of the shows that we talk about here on the show are in the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Shinedown, Jelly Roll, and John Harvey will be at the Xfinity Center on September 13th. Weird Al and Emo Phillips are going to be in town next week at Indian Ranch on August 5th. Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush, just like I was talking about, Bush coming out with a new song tomorrow off of their upcoming new album. They're going to be at the Xfinity Center October 8th. In This Moment, Nothing More, Cherry Bombs, and Sleep Token are going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on September 17th. And before the show happens, before all of the shows at the MGM Music Hall happen, they're having a grand opening kind of invite-only little soiree. And Mike Shue and I are both going to that. So we're going to be able to give you inside information, tons of pictures of what this brand new venue in downtown Boston behind Fenway Park looks like. And I'm super excited to see it. So a lot of great shows are getting announced for the MGM Music Hall. Aaron Lewis is going to be at Indian Ranch coming up on September 3rd, excuse me. Stained is also going to be at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield on September 11th. Joe Satriani is going to be at the Orpheum on November 5th. Five Finger Death Punch, Megadeth, The Who, and Fire from the Gods are going to be at the Xfinity Center coming up September 18th. And there are a lot of cameo appearances that have been announced for this upcoming Megadeth album, including Ice-T and Sammy Hagar, which is pretty cool. Megadeth covering Sammy Hagar, and Sammy Hagar came in to sing on the new version of Megadeth's version of a Sammy Hagar tune, so that's pretty cool. AWOL Nation is going to be at the House of Blues coming up on October 23rd, and I Prevail are going to be on the True Power Tour at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on November 19th. Other shows I want to make sure that you guys know about: Extreme at Indian Ranch on September 2nd, Hampton Beach on September 3rd. The aforementioned Aerosmith are going to be at Fenway on September 8th, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers are going to be at Fenway on September 10th. And I wonder, because the show is going to be in September, if they're going to sample some of the new songs off of the upcoming new album. They probably will. Judas Priest and Queensryche at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway on October 16th, just a few weeks before Judas Priest gets inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you haven't seen this mini documentary yet, I tweeted about it last night. Randy Blythe from Lamb of God is a huge surfer. Actually, if you go back and listen to the older episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast featuring Des Fafara from Cold Chamber and Devil Driver, Randy Blythe is a huge surfer, as is Des, and Des's surfing line, Sun Cult, is something that Randy Blythe works with. Randy has been a surfer for a really long time, and he ended up in Ecuador surfing and made friends with a lot of people in Ecuador. And just like I have a Cameo account where I can make custom videos for you, Randy has a Cameo account, and Randy does a lot of Cameo videos. And he decided to take all of the money from his Cameo videos and save it all up. And what Randy ended up doing is buying a massive piece of property in rural Ecuador that was an old cattle farm. And because cattle were grazed on this land, they cleared it for pasture land. So they cut down the rainforest that was there. And then the cattle basically killed everything that was alive on that land besides the grasses that they ate. Randy bought that old cattle farm, and he is slowly turning it back into rainforest. And he has been this is what he's been doing during COVID. It's unbelievable. And he planted a bunch of fruit trees, and there is rainforest that was on the piece of property that he already bought. One of his friends in Ecuador's family bought the other piece of property that was adjoining. They're letting the rainforest grow back. They planted a bunch of fruit trees, and they're trying to encourage the wildlife to come back. They call it rewilding, where you let the ground kind of come back to what it was. And so he created a 5-minute documentary about it. It's on his Instagram account. You guys should really check it out. It's very, very cool. And he's got time lapse of what the land looked like when he bought it and what it looks like today and what they're expecting it to look like 10, 20, and 30 years from now. And it's pretty badass. Coheed and Cambria is Friday, Rachel says. Brito says, I'm going to catch Kenny Wayne Shepherd in East Providence. What kind of custom videos, Keith wants to know. So if you have a Cameo account, there are so many different people that make custom videos. So if somebody's celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, if somebody's retiring from a job or military service, if they got a new job, if they got engaged, if they just had a baby, you want to do a gender reveal, any kind of custom video like that, you can go on Cameo, search from a bunch of different musicians, actors, comedians, radio DJs, podcast hosts, and you submit all the information about the person you want to give the video to. And somebody like me can make a custom video specifically for that person. And then it gets sent to you and you can gift the person that video and they get the actual video file so they can upload it on their Instagram, on their social media. They can put it up on Facebook, put it up on their website, wherever they want to do it. And Cameo is pretty cool like that. So there are a lot of athletes, obviously, to get a guy like Big Papi to make a Cameo video for you, it's like $500. The Mistress Carrie videos are a lot more affordable. But Cameo has got a ton of different athletes from all different sports. It makes a really cool gift for somebody that is a diehard fan of a specific actor, a specific comedian, an athlete. Because, sometimes you don't know what to get the person that has everything. And you can get really personal in the information that you give through Cameo. And the more personal the information that a person like me gets when we're making your Cameo video, the more funny and personal and engaging we can make the video that you're then gifting. So you can add references to inside jokes, kind of all of that stuff. I've done gender reveal videos. I've done celebrating divorce videos. I've done relationship advice videos, all kinds of stuff. But Randy Blythe took all of the money from his Cameo videos and he bought a big piece of land in Ecuador. And I thought it was really cool. So you definitely should go and check out the mini documentary. It's only like 5 or 6 minutes long, but it's really, really cool. We were talking about the Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Powerman 5000, and Static X show at the Xfinity Center this weekend. Also, it's coming up fast. The stadium tour at Fenway, August 5th and 6th. Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Collective Soul, who's getting ready to release their 11th studio album later this year, touring with Switchfoot. They're going to be at Indian Ranch on August 6th. Ghost, Mastodon, and Spirit Box. That is a huge show. If you're into metal, that is a big metal show. September 12th at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence. And Bruce Springsteen. He sold 1.5 million concert tickets in 8 hours and basically broke Ticketmaster. 2 shows coming in March. Mohegan, March 12th. The Garden on March 20th. Both of those shows sold out in minutes. It's unbelievable. Ticketmaster actually had to come out because Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band fans were upset that there were tickets that were going for like $1,000, which they hold those premium tickets, and they even sold out like crazy. Lamb of God, we were just talking about Randy Blythe, along with Killswitch Engage. They're going to be at the MGM Music Hall on September 21st. Also, Godsmack is going to be there on August 27th. That is a big charity event. And the Tattoo the Earth Festival, August 17th at the Palladium. Anthrax, Black Label Society, Hatebreed, At the Gates, Municipal Waste, and Enforced. And we were talking about it a little bit last week, that this upcoming Pantera kind of reunion, kind of tribute tour that's happening next year is going to feature Zakk Wylde from Black Label Society and is also going to feature Charlie Benante, the drummer from Anthrax, and they are going to take the place of Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul, which they were both really close with Dimebag and Vinnie Paul, so that kind of gives me hope that it's going to be just this really tasteful tribute tour to be able to go out and play those Pantera songs live again. So that is happening at the Palladium outdoors, and that's just the lineup for the main stage. There's going to be a secondary stage as well. Evanescence and Korn are going to be at the Xfinity Center at the end of August, on August 26th. And I want to let you know some new releases that are coming out this week. New releases come out on Fridays, and I'm not just talking about music releases. Whiskey Myers has got their new album, Tornillo, coming out. But Aerosmith announced a pretty cool project they've been working on. When they signed with BMG, They signed a deal that also gave BMG access to all of the private Aerosmith vaults as well. And this is one of the fruits of that arrangement. It's called Aerosmith 50 Years Live from the Aerosmith Vaults. Aerosmith went back through their video vaults and found 5 live concerts from different parts of their careers, and they edited them together, worked on the audio, and the first release, it's going to stream starting Friday at 3 p.m. on Aerosmith's YouTube channel, is called Live from the Summit. They were back-to-back Aerosmith shows in Houston, Texas in 1977, and they took both of those performances, squished them together into one live concert streaming experience, and it's going to be the first thing that's coming out of the Aerosmith vault, and it gets released on Friday. I think it's going to be really cool. So you can check it out on Aerosmith's YouTube starting at 3 p.m. on the East Coast, and I'm really looking forward to that because it's Aerosmith in their heyday. Now, definitely some stuff you don't want to miss. The Hair Fest, the 4th annual Hair Fest, is happening this Saturday. Music starts at noon. It's at Indian Ranch in Webster. 5 tribute bands. Van Halen tribute band, Motley Crue tribute band, Def Leppard, Poison. It's going to be an absolute blast. Mike Shue, Chuck Perks, and I are going to be there. And then the next day, Tesla is at Indian Ranch on Sunday, and the Pike is sponsoring that as well. And the Rock Fest is happening September 10th at Indian Ranch. Speaking of Aerosmith, one of the greatest Aerosmith tribute acts, Draw the Line, is headlining that show. You can get all the details on these up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com as well. All right, we got to get to the mail call because you guys are not going to believe what's in the mail call this week. You're not going to believe it. All right, so the first thing I want to show you guys, let me read the card here. Mail call this week. This one says a gift from Tree. Do you hear Wednesday? She hears mail call and she's, can I help you? Wednesday? Did you hear the mail call and you're back? The first thing we got is a gift from Trina. So thank you, Trina. And of course, Wednesday is here for mail call because she gets toys in the mail call, including a giant purple chewy cow and its twin. Do you want these? Get him. Get him. Get him. Yeah, new toys. So excited. Yeah, give me that. Give me that. Trina, obviously you can see she hates the toys. Thank you. Somebody came to do some work on the house yesterday, and the basket that you guys gave her that is just filled with all of the toys you've sent her over the last 2 years, Wednesday has gotten into this habit that when someone comes to the house, she brings them a gift. She brings them a toy. And she dove into that basket head first with just her little pug legs and her little waggy tail coming out the top. And she went digging for a very specific toy to bring it to this person. And they were like, what is she doing? And I was like, oh, she's bringing you an offering. Give me that. Give me that. One is for Wednesday and one is for Zero. Do you really think that Zero is going to get this toy? I'm going to do my best to give her the other one. But as you can see, Wednesday is a fan of both of them. Is that good? Did you like that new toy? All right, so that was one of the things we got in the mail call. Then this one. All right. There were some very specific instructions that came with this one. So Mr. Fitz sent me some music on a drive that I'm going to check out. Felt compelled to reach out and catch up a bit. I do my best to jump in the war room and the podcast, but I do admit that it's few and far between to follow anyone as of late. Not to make excuses. Life has been a little bit more stressed and busy. It's a pretty long letter. I don't want to read the whole thing, but he wants me to listen to some tunes, which I would be honored to do. So 100% I will do that for you. Okay. Then we got this that says, oh, this, Trina, this is the rest of the stuff that you sent. Sorry, it was separated by boxes. So Trina not only sent the toys for Wednesday, but she also sent this book, The Big Adventures of Tiny Dick. It comes with a bonus paper dicks inside. They are what you would imagine coloring book dick pages. Hold on. I need the screen bigger so you guys can appreciate now that Wednesday realizes not everything is for her. I can't. She said, I had to send this to you. Tiny Dick riding on horseback. I particularly love this one on the back. Tiny Dick. Oh, sorry, right here. Skydiving. I can't. Now, how am I going to color in my Tiny Dick coloring books, you might ask? Well, it's not just the Tiny Dick coloring book. There's also the Bag of Dicks coloring book, the adult coloring book. There's the life-size ones or above life-size ones. There's the repetition, step and repeat. There's different patterns. Ooh, this one is a little tribal. It says, would you like to laugh out loud? Laugh out loud coloring book adventure to share with your friends or enjoy solo, beat boredom, manage stress, and practice relaxation with this coloring book. Who knew cocks could be so hypnotizing, it says. An excellent break from stress that I can use again and again, rather like a penis. At the party, it was a hit. Everyone had a good laugh, and the coloring pages were really top-notch. This irreverent coloring book is chock full of cock. No boring coloring pages here. Everyone is unique and designed to be enjoyed. Oh, this is happening. Now, you may be asking, how are you going to color those in, Carrie? Well, Trina thought of everything, actually. Hold on, let me open this plastic. As soon as Wednesday hears wrappers, she thinks things are for her, and she comes running. They included multicultural, all of the colors of the flesh tone rainbow so that we can make these Adventures of Tiny Dick and the Bag of Dick coloring book as lifelike as we want. And it doesn't matter the shade of the dick. We have all of the shades because Crayola has multicultural crayons. And I bet when they released these crayons, they did not expect that someone like me was going to be coloring in dicks with them. Or maybe they did. I don't know. So this is a bigger box too. The Colors of the World crayons. I can't. Trina, I simply can't. I'm dead, says Mark. Jonathan says, ha ha, penis pencils? No, flesh-colored crayons. That is awesome. That must be hard to find, says Bish. Chock full of cocks has to go in the dictionary. Oh my God. Will somebody please comment, hit the message in the studio button. And Jonathan, will you do that right now? Go to mistresscarrie.com, click the message the studio button, and write dictionary in the subject line and write chock full of cock has to go in the dictionary. You don't have to be big to do great things. The Adventures of Tiny Dick. Wait, I want to see the paper dicks. Where are the paper dicks in here? Oh, they're like little paper dolls that you cut out and you can dress up Tiny Dick in little outfits. You can even color test your dicks so we can do comparison with all of the different crayons. Oh my God, this is totally happening. Totally happening! And you have no idea how much I needed this laugh, by the way, this week. All right, I got one more letter, and I wanted to thank Melissa. She sent me a really long letter, and she doesn't want me to say everything that's in the letter, but there's, I do want to share this part with you. She says, and this is from Melissa, she says, I wanted to give this to you in person, but with your crazy busy work schedule and travel and my crazy busy work schedule and travel, I don't see a feasible time frame. Bummer, so I ended up mailing it. I started this project almost 2 years ago. I went through 4 different revisions of info to include, which in turn meant that I needed to rewatch the first 20 or so episodes of Cocktails in the War Room 4 different times. But I finally figured out what I wanted to include in this project, and I think it turned out amazeballs. I hope you really like it too. When it came time to send the project to print after I uploaded it and finished the print order, I realized that the upload was incomplete. Ugh, I had forgotten some information, so I called customer service. They helped me cancel my original order, and I was able to upload the edited and correct version, and I decided to pick a different paper type and finish the second print order. They even refunded me my first print order in full. Yay me. So it came up as a complete surprise when I received 2 finished copies of the project. Both have the corrected version, but one has the original selected paper and the other has the edited paper. I was only charged once, which is a bonus. So the only thing I ask is that you pick whichever version you want to keep and sign the other and send it back to me. The wooden case is inscribed and has a USB drive in it that contains only the soft copy of this project and the edited image used. Who knows how you'll be able to use it in the future. Thanks again for helping to keep me and all of the Cocktails in the War Room family sane these past few years through all of the crazy. You're an incredible woman who has pulled herself out of the ashes, built an empire on the smoldering remains of what was, and thanks for including us in your journey. You're an inspiration. Love, Melissa. What is she talking about, you ask? Allow me to show you this incredible super secret project that she has been working on. So first of all, she sent this wooden box, and inside the box has a thumb drive that has the digital version of what she printed. And the inscription says Cocktails from the War Room, March 14th, 2020 to June 1st, 2020. So check this out. She went to the old episodes, which are all available on the YouTube channel. You can watch all of the old episodes, all the old cell phone episodes, all of it at mistresscarrie.com. But she made a printed, professionally bound book of the early episodes of Cocktails in the War Room. This book captures the War Room artifacts and cocktails that Carrie shared every night for 80 nights in a row, March 14th to June 1st. After ruling the rock airwaves of Boston for 22 years at WAAF, Mistress Carrie, the baddest bitch in Boston, created her own little empire. This show was never supposed to happen. She took a part of my blog, and 80 nights in a row, we got together at 8:30 to check in, talk about the headlines, laugh, and cry. Then we made the decision to make it a weekly show and carry it on into the unpredictable future. What started on my cell phone has grown from a tripod to editing software to live guests, t-shirts, charity work, and the future can take it anywhere on deployment. Check this out, guys. Their episode breakdowns. Episode 1, The Drink, A Moscow Mule, The T-Shirt, Black Sabbath, Quick Hello. Is this not unbelievable? Episode 35, Lemon Moonshine in a Black Skull Glass Candlebox T-Shirt when they opened for Rush at the Centrum. Would have been Carrie's 22nd anniversary on the air. Told the Opie and Anthony story. Joe Buck got offered $1 million to do play-by-play, commenting porn. Mayor Walsh declares April 17th, 2018, Mistress Carrie Day. That was all of the stuff that we talked about. And on April 17th, 2020, which would have been my 22nd anniversary at AAF, we did the pink fetish drink. She literally went through and archived the first episodes of Cocktails in the War Room. It's unbelievable. Melissa, when I opened this, I was in awe of this. It's really heavy, professionally bound. Like, this is the story of us, guys. This isn't just me. This is our time together. This is us hunkered down together. This is us flattening the curve. This is us going through unprecedented times of something that none of us had ever lived through in our lives. And it's bound in this book. It's unbelievable. I could not believe that you took this amount of time to put something like that together. So there's two different versions. And one set of paper is more glossy and the other one's not. So I like the glossy paper better, I think. So I think I'm going to keep the glossy one, and I will 100% sign the other one for you and send it back to you, because I want you to have fruits of your labor, and to know that we have the only 2 copies of these is amazingly special to me. So I feel like it should be Cocktails in the War Room, a cookbook to raise money for Carrie's projects. I mean, guys, one of the things, to go back to what we talked about at the start of the show, one of the things that has been the hardest about rebuilding after WAF, rebuilding during and now coming out of a pandemic, has been balancing my work time and responsibilities with my personal time and responsibilities. Obviously wanting to be able to celebrate my new family after getting married in the height of the lockdown, and spend time with my kids and my husband, but also the responsibilities of taking care of my mom. And that has been where every moment of spare time, I say spare time, basically any moment that I wasn't sleeping or working, I've spent with mom, and then occasionally being able to get away to spend time with my husband and the kids. So as this new phase of my mom's care starts, and my sister and I are able to kind of take control of some of our lives back, there are going to be a lot of these new projects that we've been talking about here in the War Room, and these new things that we can do, and starting to put together charity events, and putting together, events just for the War Room, and being able to take the show on the road. It's been really hard to do a lot of that as my mom's illness has progressed. And I know I made you guys a lot of promises over the last couple of years that there were a lot of great things coming, and there are, but I had to make the decision a lot of times of sacrificing moving forward with work and sacrificing personal time to make sure that I was doing right by my family. And so I can tell you that starting towards the end of this year and into next year, there are going to be a lot of amazing things coming. And they're not only going to be with the Pike, obviously, and with Westwood One and the shows that I do for them, but with the podcast and the War Room and all of the other things that we're going to be able to do as new sponsors come into the show as well. And we're able to really get involved with more charity events. Now, a lot of charities haven't been able to do fundraisers because a lot of the fundraisers are to help people that are struggling. And it's hard to help people that are struggling, especially physically, that are battling diseases, illnesses, and injuries when they're the most susceptible to a virus that is taken over the planet. So those people haven't been able to go out themselves and be part of these amazing adventures. So we have a lot to look forward to. There is a lot of great stuff on the way. Rachel, you said it perfectly. This is fucking amazeballs and beautiful. Great job, Melissa. I know. I was floored when I opened the box, because you guys know I can't wait until the War Room starts to open the boxes. And I'm really glad that I didn't wait, because I'm so emotionally raw with everything over the last few days that I probably would have burst into tears had I not known that this was coming. So Melissa, you are amazing. Have you had any time in your garden? Trina wants to know. I've had some. The peas were okay. I'm getting some cherry tomatoes now, but it's been a battle trying to keep the garden moist because it's been so damn hot. So the new irrigation, the drip irrigation hoses seem to be working, but I had to up the time that I was using to water the garden because it just wasn't getting enough water. One of the other things I did was I worked with the guy that maintains the irrigation system in the yard. I actually got a new controller for my sprinkler system that's attached to an app. And the controller is connected by Wi-Fi to a weather station. And so I don't have to rely on, what ended up happening was the rain sensor on my sprinkler system last year malfunctioned. And we all know how much rain we got last year. And it sucked to see the pouring rain and then look out and see my garden getting watered. So last year the garden sucked because it got too much water. This year I put in this new irrigation system so that if it rains, it goes by the forecast in the area and the weather stations. It won't water the garden. And it also will detect dryness based on the forecast, and it'll water it more. And if I go out there and I can turn the garden on and off with my phone, which is kind of amazing. And it's supposed to save me, the reason why I did it, it's supposed to save me a lot of money on my water bill, which I really wanted to do. So the garden's doing okay. I got a lot of flowers on the cucumbers, a lot of flowers on the pumpkins, a lot of flowers on the zucchini and summer squash. My celery is growing like gangbusters. I never grew that before. The tomatoes, I can't tell what's going on with the tomatoes right now. I really do think, though, that I am going to have to really spend some time fertilizing and composting the soil after this growing season. And really, I might get the soil tested and figure out why I'm having such difficulty with certain things in my garden, getting them to grow. The herbs have been growing great. The oregano's great. The mint is great. The rosemary's great. But some things are really struggling that I used to be able to grow a lot of. Like the green beans aren't great this year. I used to get gallons and gallons and gallon bags of green beans. Not getting those anymore. So I don't know what's going on. But the garden, when I can get out there, is obviously one of the places that makes me the happiest, especially since my shoulder's been so bad and I haven't been able to get out on my bike and skydive. So thank you, Trina. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Melissa, for the amazing gifts in the mail call this week. Pretty spectacular stuff, guys. You guys are amazing. Want to remind you guys, this is the last week to celebrate Christmas in July at mistresscarrie.com. You can still get 10% off of everything you order in the store until the end of the month. Use the code July 2022 to get 10% off of everything when you check out. And yes, there are still all of the sizes available in both colors of the tank tops. Did sell a lot of them, though, through the heat wave, but I still have T-shirt Brian is amazing, and I still have all of the sizes in stock. All right, before we get out of here, we always want to celebrate birthdays. So today is a badass birthday in rock and roll if it's yours. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you share it with Roger Taylor from Queen, Mick Jagger from the Stones, Dobie Gray, Gary Sharon from Extreme, and Taylor Momsen from the Pretty Reckless. And so happy birthday to everyone celebrating birthdays today, and happy unbirthday to Keith. So cheers to you guys. Good night, Jeff. See you next week. Those are some pretty spectacular birthdays if today's your birthday. Want to let you guys know, I sent out a message earlier today. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass on Patreon, we always get together before the end of the month for a private exclusive live stream. That's happening this Sunday night at 7:30. So it's kind of like Cocktails in the War Room, but it's a lot more interactive because there's a lot less people in there that are chiming in the comments. If you don't have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass yet, you can get one on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie or click the Patreon button at mistresscarrie.com. Every month we do an exclusive live stream. You can submit podcast interview questions. You get travel blog updates. I'm going to be headed to Chicago in the next few weeks. So first of all, if you guys have suggestions on things I should be doing in Chicago, let me know. But also if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I'm going to be taking you guys to Chicago in the next few weeks. You also get early access to event tickets, exclusive concert ticket giveaways, and these are the concerts that Backstage Pass holders have access to. Rob Zombie tickets with Mudvayne, Powerman 5000, and Static X. Also, Korn and Evanescence tickets, Hailstorm and the Pretty Reckless tickets, Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush tickets, and also I Prevail tickets are all up for grabs with people that have a Backstage Pass. And if you got a Backstage Pass this month, you get 20% off of everything you buy in the online store. And before we get out of here, just a reminder of all of the places that you can find me online and on social: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, where you can find all of the episodes of Cocktails in the War Room. And there's also little video snippets of the podcast, and then Patreon for the Mistress Carrie podcast as well. The Backstage Pass. So there you go, guys. We ran a little late, but I wanted to fill you guys in on everything that was going on, and then I also wanted to be able to spend some time with the awesome stuff that came in the mail call this week. So cheers. Oh my God, we all need to FaceTime soon. God damn it, I want to see all your fucking faces right fucking now, says Keith. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Episode 194 is in the books. Don't forget, episode 112 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is going live at midnight tonight. And I think you guys are really going to like it. I think you're really going to love Crowbot. Brandon from Crowbot is my guest this week on the podcast. You can check it out starting at midnight. I'll see you guys next week.